Hello everyone and welcome to my week 4 multimedia presentation. I will be discussing Dwight Watto's article from 1948, Douglas McGregor's article from 1957, and Charles S. Lindblom's article from 1959, and also the statements that I found interesting and how they tie into the other theorists we have learned about so far in this course. The first article I'll discuss is called The Administrative State by Dwight Waldo. He talks about the core ideas or tenets of public administration and how there's a difference between the old orthodox ways and the new public administrative ways with today's challenges. Ultimately, he believes that there is no one way to organize a public administrative agency, but rather incorporate all ideas from the previous theorists like Fayol, Mayo, Follett, and others we have yet to cover to solve the problems of today. He states on page 140 of the classics book at the end of the second paragraph, the answer should evolve out of experience and the gradual reconstruction of our theory by thinkers in many fields. To me, this can be taken as if in order to solve a current problem, a manager may need to look to previous theorists in the field of public administration or even experts in other fields who have had similar challenges in their line of work, rather than just looking at his experience. I believe that this closely relates to Mary Parker Follett, as problems can be solved by a combination of experiences from employees within their own chain of command, rather than just the manager's experience. Usually together you might be able to come up with more of a solution than just one person doing it. This can also apply to really any public agency today, as even in the city where I work in, we look to the surrounding cities or how our employees have worked in with other cities to see if they've come up with similar solutions to a problem that we've all had in the past, and usually as a group we can come up with a solution or at least a way to proceed to help find a way to solve that problem. The second article I'll be discussing is Douglas McGregor's Human Side of Enterprise. In this article, McGregor talks about the two management styles, Theory X on page 158 and Theory Y on page 161. Where Theory X is where it assumes workers have little to no ambition and they have to be controlled or need to be enticed to provide the positive results, more of a micromanaging approach. This form of managing is related to the scientific management theory that Frederick Taylor describes to make public administration a more efficient process, similar to how a modern day DMV works, where a person is assigned to a very specific task and that is what they do, that's what they're good at. Theory Y is where management assumes that employees are enthusiastic about work and require little to no direction. This theory is more tied to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where if the employee has their basic sociological needs satisfied, they'll be more motivated to work to the best of their ability. We see this today as many public sector jobs also have pensions that kind of go into one of the basic sociological needs, the ability to have an income after you retire. And I believe that this is a great motivator for public sector employees, and it helps them perform their work to the best of their ability. The last article I will discuss is Charles Lindblom's Science of Muddling Through. He mainly discusses the theory of small incremental changes to a system by reviewing all possible changes they could make and the variations of those changes, then ultimately choosing the best one. One point he tries to make is about achieving a degree of comprehensiveness. That can be found on page 170, the first paragraph. This theory mainly describes a situation where public agencies shouldn't find a task or solve a task above and beyond its capabilities that would normally be, in another agency's jurisdiction. This separation ties back to the scientific management approach to public administration that Taylor discusses. It leaves it to the experts of one field or agency in its own jurisdiction to solve that problem. And that also ties into another, not really a theory we've learned, but the Pendleton Act, as the agency would hire people based on their appropriate skills and education for their specific jobs, and not for solving another agency's problems that they're likely not going to be qualified for. And that's it for today. Thank you for listening to my week 4 presentation.